Political analyst Clancy joining us now in studio. Clancy, we know that this is all just the beginning. We have a long process after this.
Yeah, and some things are automatic, and this trial has always proceeded along two tracks. The political track for Donald Trump has always been messaging in between courtroom appearances on, stick with me, folks, I'm your president, to the Republican base. And they're probably going to stick with him forever because they have this cult-like devotion to Donald Trump. And that's not going to change. He will continue to campaign, raise money, maybe more money than ever, and criticize the Democratic prosecutors and possibly even the judge. But legally, the other track now is coming to the forefront because certain things automatically happen now. The next step, the pre-sentence investigation. He has to subject himself to interviews and questions by the probation office. This is not a fun process, and the office that he's going to have to sit in is not exactly Trump Tower. It's probably some dingy corner of the courthouse where a probation officer assigned to the Trump case will have to interview him and write up a report that is given to the judge called a pre-sentence investigation report, and it forms the basis of the judge's decision on sentencing. And among the things that are looked at is whether Donald Trump expresses any remorse. This is true of any defendant, by the way, not just Donald Trump. Is there an expression of remorse versus a failure to accept the consequences? Is there a lack of respect for the rule of law, contempt of court, or has the defendant expressed an acceptance that this is the process, even though he has a right to appeal, which the former president certainly will do? And what is the likelihood of recidivism? Meaning, is he likely to commit some other crime? Nobody really expects, no lawyers that I've spoken to, and I've talked to a lot of them, really expect that the judge is going to put him in jail. He may not even give him home confinement. What often happens in a case like this, a white-collar crime, the first conviction, criminal conviction for this defendant, they typically get off with probation. But the probation comes with conditions. In Louisiana, and quite possibly in New York, I'm not licensed to practice in New York, but most states have active probation, which is you show up maybe once a week or twice a month. You get drug tested regularly, if not randomly. There are other conditions. A condition of all probations is you stay out of trouble, or inactive probation, where he might only have to report once a month or even twice or three times a year. Not the heavy hand of the probation officer. And the probation officer in all cases has a big role and a lot of power over that convicted defendant. And it's going to put a different level of pressure on Donald Trump to not be Donald Trump. But if nothing else, between now and July 11th, the sentencing date, the gag order is still in effect.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He has violated the gag order before, so they still have to talk about that.
There's going to be a determination of that, and he's already been determined to have violated it, but he's going to be sentenced for that.
All right. Clancy Dubose, thank you so much for joining us.